Let's have an honest discussion about the Evercade. I picked up the Evercade verse a couple of months ago and have really enjoyed it, and everything that I've said about the Evercade on my channel has been positive. So today I wanted to give you some of the negatives and just some of the things that maybe I don't agree with the Evercade, and give you some, my honest opinion, maybe some insight that you haven't thought of, I don't know. But anyway, let's get into it. Alright, so let's go over some of the things that I disagree with Evercade about, and some of the negatives. The first thing would be that they came out with the Namco Collection 1 and 2 for the Evercade. And at the time, they just had the handheld out, right? The handheld could connect to your TV, though. So you could connect an HDMI cable, I think maybe an HDMI mini, to the handheld, if I'm not mistaken, and play it in 720p on your flat screen TV. The Namco Collection 1 and 2 are games that I would love to play on my TV because it has Splatterhouse 1 and 2, and I even discovered that the the Namco Collection 2 has Burning Force for the Sega Genesis on it. Some games that are really expensive if you were to try to collect the actual cartridge. So that was that's cool. However, when they released the Verse, all the game cartridges could play on the Verse and could play on your TV. It was glorious until they said, oh, by the way, you can't play Namco 1 or 2, the Namco Collection 1 or 2 on the Verse because it was licensed to a handheld. That makes absolutely no sense. And I'm sorry, Evercade, work it out. Work it out with Namco so it will play on the Verse. The handheld played on the TV as well. So, that part of it just doesn't make sense to me. And you know what? It just seems like Evercade and Namco could work something out. To me, that's ridiculous. Now, there's a ton of games for the Evercade. So that's, it didn't deter me. I knew it going in when I purchased my Verse. I knew exactly, that I could not play Namco Collection 1 or 2. And it bummed me out, but it didn't deter me from buying the Verse because there's so many other games that I wanted to play. And so many other games that I wanted to own the cartridge of. And have it in a box and have a manual for it. So that's my first negative. And it can be a big one for you. Maybe you want just the handheld, and if you're just interested in the handheld, that's great. Cool, man. Now I wouldn't buy the handheld now if you don't have it already, because they just announced their other handheld, the EXP, and it looks really great. The screen is, I think, a little better battery maybe. You can play TOT. So the games that are vertical scroller that are in top mode, you can flip the handheld, and they've arranged the buttons pretty nicely to where you can use it that way. I think that handheld's going to be very cool. But then they did another thing to sell that handheld. They put some Capcom games included with it. And you're thinking, wow, that's great. Capcom games on a cartridge? That's awesome. Nope. No cartridge. It's going to be built into the Evercade EXP, so if you want the Capcom games, you're going to have to buy that handheld. Now, what's the problem with that? The problem is that the Evercade is built and was sold, and the reason I like my Evercade is because of physical media. That was the big thing. You buy the cartridge, you own it. You buy that game, you own it. You can play it. It's physical media. You get a manual, you get a box to store it in, a clamshell, all that nostalgic, cool stuff that I like. So to make a turn and say, well, you know what, we got Capcom on board, but if you don't buy the EXP, sorry, you can't play it. And there's also been rumors that maybe they're going to go with a digital storefront. And so to me, that's why? The thing that differentiates Evercade from the Switch or modern consoles is physical media. Stay in your lane. Don't don't do this. Do with what got you here. Dance with the girl that brought you. Dance with the date that brought you. You know, that's the thing about the Evercade is physical media. So I disagree 100% with that. I'm probably going to pass on the EXP. I probably am, for that reason. Now, not everything is negative about the Evercade. So those are my negative thoughts about the Evercade. What's positive? There's a lot positive. I love my Evercade verse. I love the games that I've collected for it. There's a very good library, and all the carts have more than one game on it. And another positive is there's several games that I can own on a cartridge that if I went out to purchase that cartridge would be extremely expensive, like the Renovation Collection. I got that for $19.99. Has a ton of games on it, and almost all of those games, well, let's say a portion of those games are very, very expensive if you were to try to purchase the cartridge, collect the cartridge, especially if you want a manual and a box. So that's a huge, huge positive. One of the other really great positives is discovering games that I didn't know about. There's a lot of games that I have discovered. Tin Head for the Sega Genesis that's on the Pico collection. Other games that I have discovered that have just been awesome that I didn't know existed, and playing them on the Evercade, I have discovered so many games. The Data East Arcade 1 cartridge. Excellent, man. There's some really awesome games on there. Games that I love that are arcade games that you can play on your couch or your chair, connected to your flat screen TV with a controller. Awesome. So the discovering different games, owning the games on a cartridge, owning physical media, all super positives. And another thing is you can use different controllers on the Evercade Verse. Almost any USB controller will work on an Evercade Verse. If you got an old 360 controller hanging around, man, plug it in and play. So very versatile when it comes to the controllers that it uses, and I would check out the list of compatibility if that's something that you're concerned with. But and there's a pretty extensive list out there. Then one of the other really super positive things is independent games. Xeno Crisis. I wanted to get that on the Sega Genesis for so long since it came out, and I just did not. I couldn't spend $50 on it. I mean, I was having a hard time with it, and some of them now I think that it's probably higher than that. What an awesome game, and I got it on a cartridge. I don't know if it was originally priced $19.99, probably was, but I got it with another independent game for $20. I think I paid $26 for it. So not bad at all. And I can play it on my flat screen, and it plays awesome. And that's another positive thing. The emulation is done very well, in my opinion. I haven't had one problem updating my verse, updating any of the games. The emulation runs great. I know that when they first put it out, there was some slowdown in certain games, certain arcade games. I think the Data East might have had some issues with Sly Spy and some of the other games, but they quickly patched that, and the verse has Wi-Fi built in, very easy to set up. So that's a positive as well. And back on the independent games, there's another game that I discovered that is just awesome, and it came out from the MegaCat Studios for the Sega Genesis, actually, in 2018. A 2018 new release for the Sega Genesis, and it's called Tanzer. That game's $50 if you want to buy it now, the cartridge. You can get it for $19.99 on the MegaCat Studio collection, along with some other games that came out for the NES and the Genesis, newer games from MegaCast Studios. So that discovery part of it, excellent. The versatility with controllers, great. The way that they have supported the verse with updates, awesome. One other and this is a real positive in my opinion, you get a free game of the month, and it's digital, it's on your verse, and what they do is they give you a game of the month so that you can play a game that's coming on an upcoming cartridge. And you can play that on your verse as long as you want. When they come out with another game of the month, if you want to switch, then you download the other game. You can only have one, of course, on your system at once. But it is very cool. And if you don't download that update and switch the game of the month, from my understanding is you could just hold on to that. If you have a really awesome game of the month that you love, hang on to it, for as long as you want, or until you decide to purchase the cartridge. So that's another huge positive. Another positive is when you save a game, it saves it to the cartridge. It actually saves it to the actual cartridge. So if you do have the handheld, or you end up getting the EXP, the EXP, the new handheld coming up, those save games go with your cartridge, just like back in the old days, man. That's awesome to me. That's very cool. Another positive thing about the verse is it's plug and play, so you can pull cartridges out while it's on, switch them out. It also holds 2 cartridges at once, so you can have a ton of games up on your screen to pick from. That's awesome, and I really can't talk highly enough about the discovery of games that I had never played before, never seen before, and that I just really enjoy. Now, I will tell you, there's another kind of negative, and I know this isn't organized the best, but it's just a discussion. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. There are some games that are shovelware. There's some bad games on there. So really, check out that cartridge. Look up reviews, man. There's guys, Crow Evercade, I believe. It's Crow. I've been subscribed to him for a long time. Man, that dude, he plays every Evercade game and reviews all of them. He's on a Evercade podcast that is on the weekends. That's just a discussion with him and 3 other guys. They just talk Evercade news and give you information about it, play games, show footage, all that kind of stuff. So the information is out there. There's some really cool people covering the Evercade. So check it out, man. Look to see if that cartridge is going to be worth it for you. Now, in my opinion, let's say you get 3 bad games and 5 great games, and if you were to, collect those games individually, you're probably talking over $100, maybe even more. You get it on a cartridge for $19.99. All right, give me 3 bad games. Big deal, But just be honest with yourself when you're looking at those cartridges. Not every game's going to be a winner, and some games are going to be a winner to you that won't be to me, that type of thing. That's all preference. So, but anyway, I don't know. I'm sure that I forgot some positives and negatives. I would love to hear from you. This is a discussion. Tell me what you think. Do you like the Evercade? Do you own it? Are you thinking about getting it? What do you think about the new handheld that's coming up? Give me your opinion on that. And just tell me what you think Evercade could do to improve things and how they can stay successful. I would love to hear from you in the comments. I know everybody else would too. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope this video was entertaining at least, and maybe insightful. I hope you got some value from it. So until next time, have a good day. Have a great and safe rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time.